the team for Domination Vaila. FA Cup champions.
It's wonderful to be back again on Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com, and I can tell you that we got some great news, and particularly pertaining to Sri Lanka cricket. The SLC T20 League concluded on a very high note, and I can tell you that the competition, the interest, the contest and the crowd involvement was absolutely magnificent. Now to talk about it and more, and also looking ahead, I got Farveez Maharoof with me. Thank you for joining us, Maha. Well, let's start off with the final. What a final it turned out to be. Eventually, a little bit one-sided, I thought, because of Upul Taranga. He was in a zone, I thought, with the bat in hand. What were your thoughts?
Absolutely. It was a one-man show when it came to Colombo's innings. But overall, I thought Damulla was 20 runs short. I mean, as when we spoke of that score of 180 is a must, and they ended up at 163. And a costly catch, missed catch by ThePapare. That was how costly was that. It was about 22 or something like that. Ended up winning with 100. So I thought overall, as you correctly said, I thought it's a very successful tournament. The players were very hungry to perform, and we saw some good cricket right throughout the last couple of weeks. And I thought, Upul Taranga, speaking about a word about him, I thought he's in magnificent form. 200s in first game and the finals. I mean, what can a batsman can do?
Yeah, indeed, no doubt, indeed. Lots of cricketers put their hands up, and one guy I always feel now should be a kind of a permanent feature, at least in the white ball format, is Dasun Shanaka. Now, we all know what a great all-round, I would not say great, but what good all-round ability he has and what he brings to the team as a player. But no award for him, but that takes nothing away from what he could do.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a upcoming all-rounder, I would say. I mean, still has a lot of work to do with his bowling, but batting-wise, I thought he has come a long way. But when it comes to bowling, I think to him to perform at international level, I mean, he will always do well in first-class cricket with his ability, but to do that extra bit in international level, he has to develop more with his variations, with his line and length. So that's where he has to work on his game. But when it comes to batting, I'm very thin. I mean, he's the second highest scorer, 312 of 6 innings, and with 102. So I think we have found a good player, but how we manage to get the best out of him is to be seen, especially in the Asia Cup.
Yeah, that will have to be seen, no doubt, because Dasun Shanaka will have to be used judiciously. But talking about some of the positives of this tournament, well, some big scores. Some of them, or most of them, are known. Taranga standing head and shoulders above in terms of runs, over 400 runs. Then we got Dasun Shanaka in the 300 category, Danushka Gunatilaka in the 200 category, then Priyanjan and Kusal Mendis very close to each other, 194 and 182. In terms of bowling, I was impressed. Kasun Rajitha eventually walked away with the Best Bowlers Award, 13 wickets. But another player, I think, Maha, who should really be in at least the T20 fray is Jeevan Mendis. Yeah. Now, Jeevan Mendis brings in experience as a batsman, as a leg spin bowler. He's developed a lot of variety. Of course, he is a senior statesman in cricket, but don't you think that Jeevan Mendis should be kind of in the system going forward?
I thought, looking at him in the entire tournament, I mean, I covered most of the games. I mean, his new variation of the sidearm drill is very effective, and especially in T20 cricket. And even in a game where the super over happened against Kandy, he bowled super over for 5 runs. So he's been in remarkable form, and also with the cameos he had, 30s and 20s. I'm with you. I think he should be considered at least in the 2020 setup, not for the 50 overs. I mean, they've gone with Dilruwan and a few others. But Jeevan Mendis definitely, I mean, with his experience playing worldwide in all the leagues, I think we can have at least 1 or 2 years from him.
Yeah, we've spoken a lot about the tournament per se, and everyone watching will obviously understand that this tournament had a lot of value. But any tournament, anything can always get better. It can only get better. One should never get worse. So in that sense, I know there are lots of positives. I don't want to touch on positives. But what should SLC do going forward to make this tournament better? I mean, let's not bring in the international players, because that's another thing that they're thinking of. But anything other than that?
One more team. We spoke about it yesterday as well. I think we have 84 players in 4 teams, and 6 of them cannot even make the squad of 15. So there itself are 24 players. So I think if we have one more team, it will be more competitive. And seeing some names who are not even in the 24. I mean, the 6 into 4, the 4 teams. 24 players, they can easily walk into any team. So one more team to make it more successful, I'm with it.
Yeah, I couldn't have agreed more with you. Now, the point we're both trying to make is that there are 4 teams of 21 players each. Now, that would make up a number of 84. But when it eventually comes to the game, the squad drops down to 15. So you would have, so that's 60 players out of 84. So you would have 24 players who would not even be sitting on a bench. So that's, I think, a shame. We're talking of the cream of Sri Lankan cricket. So yes, another team I think warrants serious consideration. Right, so that's it as far as the domestic scene is concerned. We're going to have some more international cricket. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. The Asia Cup happening in UAE. Asia Cup, well, that's the title that the top teams in Asia have been vying for a long time. Sri Lanka have named a squad of 16 and 1 or 2 interesting inclusions. Lasith Malinga, one of them. There have been a massive hue and cry with Malinga being left out. Dilruwan Pereira being brought into the side. Now, rather late in the day for him. But the rest seem to be selecting. They seem to be the obvious choices of the selectors. But what we have heard is that Akila Dhananjaya may not be available because his wife's first, or at least his wife's confinement, expecting the first child. And Chandimal did pick up that hairline fracture. Now, in that context, Maha, how do you see this team moving forward? Chandimal doubtful, Dhananjaya, Sri Lanka's most penetrative bowler, not available because of the wife's confinement, and a 16-man squad.
I think overall we have a strong squad. I'm good to see Lasith, and Lasith is back. I think he deserves it after his performance in the domestic club tournament, especially the club tournament, which he played alongside me. I mean, he did well and he was the highest wicket taker. So, rightly or so, he's been picked. And Dushman Chamira coming back after injury. Only doubt is, I mean, those 2 guys haven't bowled 10 overs for a while now. So, how they're going to cope up, especially in the heat, in the Dubai. Being a fast bowler, I know that from 4 overs to do 10 overs is going to be hard. So physically it's going to be hard. So I mean, knowing Lasith, he will work. I mean, he will work. He's back to bowl 10 overs. So I mean, I'm very happy with the squad overall. But if he, in case Akal Dhananjaya misses, I think that will be a huge loss because he's a main strike bowler. Though we have Lasith, I just feel that you know we will lose our trump card if he doesn't play. But hopefully everything will be in order so that he'll be back in the squad. But other than that, I think it's a very strong team. Good to see Dhanush Tulika is back, player of the tournament in the T20 League. And a few other batsmen, Kusal Mendy is back to form, Pultaranga obviously in superb form.
So on the subject of Dhanush Tulika, he seems to be doing everything right on the field. But can we say the same thing off the field?
The thing is, he's getting highlight for everything. So I mean, just have to be careful, bit more discipline. Yeah. So I think he has learned his lesson. I spoke to him a few times. I mean, and at this age, I mean, they used to. I mean, not used. I mean, you tend to do it. But he has to learn now. I mean, we spoke to Ramit about it. You spoke to Ramit about it. He said, I'm matured now.
Yeah.
So obviously, this will be eye-opener for Dhanushka to make it count and doesn't let this baton go now.
Just very quickly, now Sri Lanka has been placed with Bangladesh and Afghanistan. Afghanistan is like the dark horse, unpredictable side. How do you see a team like Sri Lanka approaching those 2 games?
If you ask me, the most pressure game would be the Afghanistan game because you can't lose, and we know that they have various spinners and the hitters, I mean the batters. But only thing is, playing 50 overs, I don't think they still have the confidence of batting 50 overs. I mean, 2020 they'll be very dangerous with the mystery spinners they have. But we should approach it positive. I mean, there's nothing else to do. I mean, last 3 games against South Africa, we did well. And most of the batters in the team are doing well. And the fast bowlers are doing well. So I think we just go out there, play our own brand of cricket, play with flair, play with passion.
No doubt. I think the Sri Lankans have a very special brand of cricket, and that brand has to be continued with. And hopefully, with the way we saw Sri Lanka play South Africa, hopefully, I'm sure they will continue playing that way in the Asia Cup. Right. Let's now focus a little bit towards school cricket. And at the moment, there is an under-17 tournament happening. And Mahinda College, St. Thomas's College, St. Joseph's College, and St. Sebastian's College have qualified to the semi-finals. Now, some big names missing out. Royal College missing out. Anand and Nalanda missing out. Wesley College missing out, Maha. What's going on?
I mean, our cricket has been in a bit of a downflow for a while now. I think we have to pick up. I mean, we appointed a new coaching staff last year. So we are in the rise, but at the moment, I don't think we can compete at that level. But eventually, we have a plan of 2-3 years. hopefully we'll be reach up there.
Yeah, I'm sure school cricket in Sri Lanka is one level of cricket that is being competed well and with a lot of passion and interest. So I'm sure teams will want to be really wanting to get there and show their mettle. Right, so let's now get to the question of the week. And this week's question is, how many international wickets has Lasith Malinga taken so far? Now, with Lasith Malinga being a massive topic, we thought we'll center our question also on Lasith Malinga. And I know most of you guys were pushing for Lasith Malinga into the side. I've seen various comments and various groups getting together. So, up to you now. Come on, participate and tell us how many international wickets Lasith Malinga has taken. Now, last week's question was, what is the highest score by a Sri Lankan in T20 International? Now, the answer is 104 of 57 balls, and Tilakratna Dilshan made that in 2011 against Australia, and the last week's winner was Nivetika Ravindra Kumar. Congratulations to you, Nivetika. Do contact thepapare.com and receive whatever they have for you. So once again, thank you for being in our company. We certainly, as usual, enjoy bringing this to you. We hope you'll join us again when we have another edition of Around the Wickets on thepapare.com.